Lottie and Nicoletta go. Hola! Welcome back. Episode 30, coming at ya. Gotta do this. Traditional, because I got out my tradition the other day because I'm like a goldfish unless it's in my actual vista, I forget. So, I'm going to smell nice for you. Oh, if I just turn the camera off. No, I haven't. Phew. Just thought I'd turn the camera off there. And you'll notice that I haven't got my bling on because I realised that I was zooming in and zooming out. My bling, my sacred raven, was affecting the bloody camera lens. So I'm really sorry. And I bet Darren Fringe, no fringe, freaked out at that. Also, just because I'm not, as you can tell, technology it's not my thing. Anyway, so a few things have happened. The reason that a couple of days haven't been downloading because a few things have happened here. The major one being that my darling father-in-law's broken his bloody hip. We had a phone call the other night saying the paramedics were round and that they suspected he'd broken his hip, but he couldn't tell until he took him to hospital, which obviously after weeks of shielding and being really good to try and not be involved with anybody and get, go out or be anywhere near a hospital, he's had to go in. Anyway, he's in. He has broken his hip, and right, so my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law who entices the Iceland man in with her varying alluring, if you've listened to other ones, various alluring ways, and she gets a free box of fabs and stuff. Well, this time round, I think James reckons that Gordon was putting the bins out, right, and he tripped. But I think what's happened is that Jane was trying on her latest outfit for the Iceland delivery, which was happening yesterday, right? So I reckon, because I know what's happened is, my crocheted knickers, just for those people who haven't, I mean, imagine tuning in at episode 29, imagine, right, crocheted knickers, right? So we know that these are available. So Jane putting an order in for a peephole tankini, was it a tankini? Tank, I can't remember. Anyway, a short crop toppy thing, right? So she put an order in for those, for one of those, a peephole one. And Marie Julie finished the order. So I know that she was trying it on that night. So I reckon what's actually happened is that she was trying the outfit on, and Gordon's seen it, been so surprised he's toppled. He's literally toppled over. And so I think she's saying that he was putting the bins out, but I suspect that the peephole crochet tankini, even though tankini was the major cause. But I mean, I can't go there at the moment because he's still in hospital, so I can't even go and visit him to ask him. I can't go by his bedside and whisper, go, Gordon, was it the crocheted? Was it the crocheted top, the peephole that made you topple? Or was it putting the bins? I can't even ask him silently and quietly into his ear, which normally by this point I would have, because so we're waiting to know if we can go over. We're trying to go over and help and move the house around and stuff, but we're on standby for that. So a couple of days has been lost, but quite rightly. But just while we're waiting, I thought I'd better crack another one out because I'm getting messages of where the cock am I. And I'm here. Hang on, I've got a bit of the jigsaw up at the top. So no, it's all good. He's fortunately, at the moment, he seems to be okay. And my favourite bit of the story is he was lying on the floor, not moving when Jane found him, and he was shouting at her, "Don't fuss!" And I love that, which we knew he was okay, because if he'd remained silent, obviously you start to worry. But shouting "Don't fuss" when actually it turns out you've broken your hip and can't actually stand is it just made me chuckle. Right, so you might be able to see that in that top corner. I hope you can. I've got the yellow's coming on rather nicely, and I just saw another bit there. It's a very compelling jigsaw. I was going to say to you that yesterday the social distancing continued in my shed because I had a friend from Plumstead who came for my mum's little afternoon tea, which was just such a joy in her garden. And I said, come and see the jigsaw, because he watches these mainly to tell me off, but he does listen to these, and he said it was weird to see it in person. He said, oh, I'm finding it, he didn't say bewitching, but I'm going to say bewitching because I think it's such a great word. So he found it bizarre to be near the jigsaw, and that really made me laugh. So I was thinking maybe I should do backstage tours eventually, or like when we were in Miss Saigon we used to do backstage tours, and yeah, maybe I should start doing backstage JigJaw tours, get some coaches eventually, presumably, but that's something to bear in mind, isn't it, after lockdown, when I need the financial help. I could get coach loads in. Yeah, I might do that, because I think there's the need, there's clearly the desire. So this jigsaw, I'm very pleased that I'm actually getting bits done, mainly because fiancée Zoe, she rang the other day. What did she ring for? Oh, to berate me about something. I mean, there are so many lists of trolling that I'm getting from more apparent friends that I can't actually remember. Oh, I'm going to order something from there today, from Ginger Zebra. Where's her logo? Gonna put, oh, she's doing well. She's doing well with all these lovely boxes. I can't find a thing. She's doing really well with all of the boxes of joy she's sending out. And I've got to do it, because I can't be busy telling you and then not order. I've got to do it. I've got to do it. Right, so what news? Okay, so last time I was on, when the camera was going, sorry about that. That is just another classic, isn't it? Of every time I do this, I learn something else. Mainly that I need Sparky and Scott from Scotland to cocking help me, but they've gone quiet. Maybe they've just got bored, not listening anymore. Anyway, ignoring that, ignoring my bitterness about that situation. Sorry, just going back here. Got to move my knickers, because that is a bit of a house with a roof. No. Okay, go somewhere up there. Anyway, okay, so last time I was on, I was meant to read out this really funny email from the landlady of Hove, actually. The one that Commodore said was a really ugly woman, if you remember that. But they're going to fight it out here when we can all get back together. They're going to have that show down here, because I think that would be most pleasing, right? Anyway, okay, so sorry, there's a little Velux window that I've just found there. That's good as well. Okay, so I mentioned the other day that Freddie was listening to a jazz station. It has scatting. Absolutely loads, like absolutely brings me out in a face of, well, I'd say distress. Okay, so I mean, Claire Lane and Johnny Dankworth have got a lot to explain, right? That's all I'm saying. So I said that, and I had a few people concurring avec moi. And anyway, I got this email from the landlady. So, dearest Duke, not as gushy as the Commodore, but it'll do. Dearest Duke, your episode on scatting reminded me of two jolly Essex boys we had staying here at the B&B in January. He runs Airbnb. He is a super host. I've got to write that down. I've just remembered a producer. Just remembered. And I can't remember if I told you or not, but I'm writing that down as a note, okay? Anyway, so carry on. So they informed me up front of their intention of visiting a number of clubs and music venues here in Brighton, of which, if I'm bold enough to say, we have many fine establishments here. Getting a little bit of product placement there, isn't he? They also mentioned their love of scatting and inquired if I too have found it pleasing. I mentioned seeing Cleo Lane and Johnny Dankworth in concert several times, noting that they too were into scatting. The young gentleman smiled knowingly, then asked if I was happy if they did this in the bedroom. As a hostess with the mostest, one's always trying to oblige. After their departure, I was somewhat bemused. They thanked me for the kind help I'd offered during their stay. Randomly, I thought they were so quiet I did not hear any scatting. However, the room was left in such a disgraceful state, I had to burn the sheets and use a wallpaper scraper on the bathroom floor. No idea what they'd been up to. Must have been the olives I left for them, possibly disagreeing with the stomach. Yours as always, the landlady of Brighton, Hove, actually. Right, so there are clearly two, dropping pieces on the floor with that shot. There are clearly two versions of scatting. Do you know what I'm excited about just even hearing that story and the imagery, which I'm going to really hope that I can unhear. I'm excited about you being a guest in this room, because I know that you've got so many Airbnb stories. Of course you can't name names, but I'm so excited about even the vaguest prospect of it. And somehow we need to be paid to do this, because then we could just carry on and have everybody telling us their funny stories. That's my plan. Don't know how to do it yet. Anyway, but thank you for that very pleasing email, because that has given a whole new aspect. I had to have a slurp of tea there. And if you know any scatters, landlady scatters or Cleo Lane scatters, be in touch. Okay, here's another email from the Commodore. Okay. Dearest darling Julia, I have a quick question. Is your favourite sexual position spooning? If so, please could we try it next time we have sex? Thanks, the Commodore. Right, well... Right, well, I'll ask Matt about that. I'll ask him what he says, and if he's cool with that. I can't imagine that I think if he'd noticed, because to be honest with you, he's so busy watching now. He's into bike manuals, watching them online now. And yesterday, when it was my mum's birthday, the lovely Dennis, her mate, came over and bought some flowers for me to take round to her from him. And he was talking and chatting away, and he was telling me about how he watches this couple that go sailing around the world on a boat called, what's it called? No, I can't remember. Anyway, the story he was telling me was about this lovely couple. I said, that sounds a little bit like what my husband watches. And I said, do you watch it because, you know, of the interesting places they go, or do you watch it because the woman who is on the boat is so beautiful, hot, lovely, kind, able? And he started laughing. And it turns out he's watching it for exactly the same reasons my husband is. Although they both pretend otherwise. Essentially, on this beautiful boat that sails round, he said, I'm so worried about them at the moment, he said, because they're stuck in Porto. They're stuck in Porto because of the lockdown. They can't go very far. I said, that's so sweet of you. Anyway, he was really laughing because he was found out, wasn't he? So, to be honest, in the answer, Commodore, if Matt even looks up from this beautiful couple, yes, we can. That's really made me laugh. Okay, so I'm really quite desperate. I keep seeing, even though this jigsaw's really complicated, I now know these pieces like the back of my hand. So I sort of tend to know now if I see a random bit where it's cracking on, she says, and they're not able to. Oh, that man's little. So sorry, I've got a bit too much into this jigsaw. But there's this. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little man's face. I've just got to find where he goes. Where's he going? He goes in a window. Oh, there are quite a few of these little men. I'm going to have to put him in a safe place. You'll have to remind me where I've put that, because if I suddenly come upon it, I'm going to need you. Right, what other news? Okay, so, yeah, no sourdough has been made in the last 2 days because Fred has got he's got exams. So I'm really sorry to tell you that there have been no more sourdoughs made for me to report on, because I know that all of you really enjoy the sourdough updates as much as I do. So yeah, they haven't got it. I saw yesterday for the afternoon tea was delivered by double stamp, fertility stamp, Mark from Ireland. He delivered it. He didn't do the double stamp yesterday, which is lucky, because it's not lucky because I have had the menopause, but he was quite near Bethany. So sometimes you just need to keep your family clear of him when he's in that really fertile mood, because the spinning around and the stamping, literally is lock up your daughters. However, yesterday he just delivered the afternoon tea. It was pretty simple, hand over, no dancing. So I saw him yesterday. Steve from Fulham again has called and said, ooh, mama way. And I said, well, Steve, I don't know what to say. If you keep singing that to me, I don't know what to say. But he did ask me again about his vest. And I suggested, because he wears very, very tight vests, And I suggested that he's been putting them on a hot wash, or again he keeps buying children's sizes. He's not having a bit of it. He said they're for men, but we'll have to. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on that one because I think he's foolish. These bits are getting to me as well. A lot of woody bits here. Right, what else? So Rick Waite. I still haven't bloody well written to Rick Wakeman. I might be able to do it today actually. I've got to ring the landlady after this of Hove actually, but I do need to get the Rick Wakeman email sent out because I know Steve in Australia, he's gagging to hear from him, and I want to make that dream come true because I adore Steve, so I've got to make that dream come true. I will endeavour to do that today. Although I am a bit scared, as I said, the website's a bit threatening. Like basically, you better have a good reason for emailing me or forget it. And I don't know whether he's going to go for this, but I'm going to try. Oh, I just seen a window. Bethany will be pleased if I can get this in for her. No. Excuse me. Basically now this window's getting in the way of me chatting to you, isn't it? Never mind. That's mainly what I'm meant to be here for, isn't it? Doing this. Okay. So the next thing is Stephen. Right, so face masks. So because my darling father-in-law is in hospital, and we're going to hopefully go over and help my mother-in-law move the house around for his return from the hospital. Sister-in-law, who knitted these bad boys, crocheted, sorry, has gone into making face masks. And we've got some nice pictures through of people online and stuff like that. And she's offered, and we've got to measure our noses, got to do that as well. Anyway, then I saw what she's made, and I assumed crocheting, like with some sort of, I don't know, cotton interior, right? You won't be able to believe this. She's actually knitted them. Well, no, she's not knitted them. She's sewn them out of John's old underpants. Literally, the only cotton she's got are John's old underpants. So I've said on behalf of the family, we'll get our own. We'll just, I mean, I don't care if I wrap a tea towel around my head, but I cannot countenance putting John's old pants like made into a face mask, saying, you know, I don't think it's even Calvin Klein that he has. I mean, that's not right, is it? I mean, she said she's washed them to death. You know, they have been in literally a 90 degree, but there are some things that I'm prepared to do for coronavirus, and some things that I just might risk it for a biscuit. I just don't feel happy seeing, like, even if I was brave enough to do it myself, I don't think I could turn around and see my kids, you know, donning them and being happy that they're breathing John's old pants in as opposed to air. So that was quite a bombshell actually yesterday. That was quite, I mean, because also it's awkward, isn't it? Because it's family. I don't know how to broach it safely without causing a problem. But I'm going to have to. Well, I've just said, look, we'll get our own. Yeah. So I'll keep you informed about all that, how that goes. Now, where do you go? Where do you go? You little bit of stripiness there. Right. So back to my notes. I haven't heard from him actually for a couple of days, so I can only assume that he's so tanned that he doesn't recognise himself for what he's doing. Right, so Matt from Croydon, who was in the Croydon Echo the other day because he's become such a hit, Tiger King of Croydon, I think his title was. There was a follow-up article which went into his background and how good he is at stage managing and stuff, but he's actually sent me, he said he's going to actually send me the actual print of him lying, because he's lying, I can't describe it without, I haven't got the picture with me, but I didn't show it the other day because he was quite agape when he was, and I mean, on YouTube, I've had to tick the box saying no, it's not made for children, but I also don't want to make you bring your dinner back, okay? So the picture is, he is lying on his side with his hand, I can't do it, with his hand under his head, you know, lying on the floor, one leg up, the classic pose, but he's in these really, really skimpy shorts. And I just don't want to ruin his career, actually. I mean, maybe he wants a career in the media, maybe that's what he's doing now. Maybe he's just got so casual, and maybe lockdown has made him just think, oh, I don't care, let's do it. But I'm just going to keep that a little bit. If he does send me the actual, he said he's going to send me the actual photograph. I'm I don't know what to do. So anyway, he said he's going to, because I might frame that, because I think when we have a big dinner party, because we get a lot of stage management down in a big hit, well, we did until this stupid thing started. Yeah, I think I'm going to have it framed, because at least I could have a warning, like if you enter this room, just, you know, make sure you're aware of what you're about to see and stuff. That'd probably help it, wouldn't it? But I mean, I've known Matt from Croydon quite a while now, and I was taken aback. It made me quite giddy, but it's nice. Anyway, he's had a follow-up article because he was such a hit. I think he might get a regular spot. Not a spot as in chafing, but as a regular, you know, in the paper. So he must have drawn in the audiences. He must have drawn a bit of advertising in at these bleak times. So all power to you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Next, I've had an email. I don't know if you heard me, but I was laughing at my college. I got a whole lesson on how to make food out of mashed potato, and I asked if anybody had ever done anything in mashed potato. And one person has emailed in. He was parking up his plane, and he had to tell me that yes, he has in fact made mashed potato for Sister Act, where he had to make gruel for the nuns out of mashed potato. So that's one person out of millions of stage managers, but apparently he did it. So I've been proven wrong that one person, one show has had mashed potato. I bet the floodgates open now. I bet there are floodgates of loads of people doing it now. I bet, but nobody has. But I have to say, in my slight defence, not one person has come back and said that they have actually done the sword noise off stage, like the real metalwork off stage, or indeed made coins out of bottle tops. Not one. So I think I'm safe there at the moment. The Merrill Utility Shoe, Liz has got a bit quiet, and I'll tell you what I didn't do, print out Steve's message, but I will do that unless Steve wrote to me. What did he write about his purple shirt? I will get that copied out. Isn't it nice not to have the camera going in and out? Maybe preferred it, maybe it jazzed it up. Now, you've probably seen this line here. I'm going to see if I can get it to you. Can you see that? Now, this is because apparently I'm using a lot of ink. Even though I paid for the ink, apparently I'm using a lot of ink. Now, this is an updated version of this, right, the trolley, which Claire Nipple Tassels, Pearly Nipple Tassels, hasn't currently explained to us as to what. But there's an updated one, right? Now, this is knitted. It's got an ice cream sales lady here, ice cream in the front, and then these are the NHS workers, and there's a clown. And Claire asked her mum and said, "Why have you knitted a clown?" She said, "That's Boris Johnson." So Beckenham has got a great sense of humour. So that's good. So, but what we still don't know is actually what the cock they're for. So yeah, and that just that gives me the willies, or at least I've got a willy on his face anyway. Okay, so I've had an email from Claire Pearly Nipple Tassels for Beckenham. I can't do the accent the whole way through because I think I'll hurt my vocal cords, because I'm sometimes a bit deeper than this. Not emotionally, but vocally. So right, okay. So here we are. Look, there's not even. Do you know on this one? There isn't even a dearest darling. There's not even a dearest. It's hola. Hola. Well, to be fair, that's what I say. So she's maybe getting with a beat. Okay. Do you remember when Lucy Alexander, star of Homes Under the Hammer, was at a closing rehearsal with her daughter? Having told you she was standing in the Dagenham car park next to me, I remember you dashing down from the tower to tell you that you were a super fan of the aforementioned programme and her. Yes, I was. We've met. We're very lucky, us lot. We've met a lot of sort of well-known people in our part, in our working life, and it doesn't bother. Nice people really bother me. If you're nice and kind, I think you're amazing, whatever you do. But being famous, I'm not. It doesn't bother me because I've met most people I've met are really lovely, but fame doesn't interest me really. So it doesn't make me feel different about someone all goosey, right? However, when she came from when Lucy was there from Homes Under the Hammer, I did actually get really quite a frisson, and I remember laughing. I go and see her. Now that, because she seems a nice person, and once you start at Homes Under the Hammer, Homes Under the Hammer for Australians, you have to Google it. It's a morning program. I only watch it occasionally, but she says. But once you start, you can't stop watching, and it's one of those programs where you go and look around a dilapidated house, and then you see who buys it for auction, and then they spend money on it, and you basically follow up how they did at auction. They after reselling or letting it. It's a fascinating program. As I describe it to the Australians, I can't quite believe I watch it. Anyway, Claire's quite right, because I raced down from my position where I should have probably been doing something, undoubtedly, to have my picture taken with her. And I have never done that before or since with anybody, actually, because I just don't think it's cool. But I don't know why I found that I could do that with her. I think I felt, if you see her enough, you feel like she's your family. Anyway, so what's the question? So if you could invite any daytime star around for a sourdough, beetroot and salad cream sandwich. Oh, now you've got me going there. I'm going to say that again because I've literally started salivating. Sourdough, beetroot and salad cream sandwich. Who would it be? Who would it be? I think it's got to be the David Dickinson, isn't it? Because I'll tell you why, and I'm going to find it. I've lost my mother. I've lost her. Where is she? I can find everybody else's. Nathan's mum. Oh, well look, it's got to be... Actually, rooting through that paperwork, Matt was laughing, going, why are there so many old emails and bits of old paper in the shed just to add to the carnage? I just thought, well, can't explain it. It'd have to be the Dickinson, wouldn't it? Really? Because then I could get my mum and... do you know what happened there? A phone call happened, so there's going to be a tiny edit there. Yes, so yeah, David Dickinson. So I can line up David and my mother, and it'll be who's, you know, although my mum's much more beautiful than David Dickinson, it would be very funny. It'll be a hair off. Okay, the next one. Have you always been a fan of beetroot? I used to hate it until recent years. Now I love it. Well, sometimes before lockdown, I was eating it in America, I think. On my first eve there, I ordered a beetroot salad. Thought I'd go healthy for the first night, knowing I'd been eating crap for the rest of the time. Anyway, American portions are so huge, she says. There was a large amount of beetroot. Still, waste not, want not. I ate the lot. Next morning, I panicked to see my wee was pink. It took a while to realise the cause. Knowing you're a fan of beetroot, have you experienced this? Yes. Yes, I have. I've experienced that you just assume that you've got some hideous disease, because if you do eat enough beetroot, your wee can go pink. And then, yes, I have experienced that. And actually Fred has as well, because I made a delicious roasted beetroot, Claire. That is delicious. And so we had it for dinner, and then Fred was in an absolute blind panic. So yes, I have experienced that. Also, question for Nanny Tish. Does she throw her jars into the bottle bank with gusto so they smash? I rather like doing this. Southeastern thug in me. Southeastern thug in me. Not in you. I'm going to be... The stress challenges there were all over the place. Do you know, I'm going to have to ask her, because my mum, I don't think she'd like to make the noise, but I can understand there's quite something satisfying about the smash. So I will ask her. Good question. Good. Whether she's just lobbing them in with some sort of or whether she's plop. So hurrah for Shan. This is Nanny Wendy's trolley. This is her mum, Nanny Wendy. Stand by for her latest creation. She's been busy in lockdown. In answer to your question, like Pete's friend, I think my mum keeps her gin in the trolley. So maybe I have got my answer. Maybe these are gin trolleys, and maybe Claire's mum could make a massive killing on it. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to try and get another one done this afternoon so I can catch up a little bit. But if not, I love you. I love you. I love you. Stay well. Bye.